Not Apache Pig, running the code through Hadoop.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So I've started the recording. Let's recap then based on what some of you have just reminded me about. Okay. So if I'm correct, we were trying something in this directory called as Python inside d colon code Hadoop. And here we had a list of some animals that we said we will do a count of. And I think then we wrote the mapper program, as Akash and a few others pointed out. So this is the code that we wrote, and then we tried running the mapper program. So today we'll complete the remaining part, which is to write the reduce code, and then we will run the map reduce together. Before we do so, even if I have explained this last time, which may or may not have happened, let me just quickly once again go through this code. So you see if you have any questions. This mapper program, what it does is it reads every line that we pass through the animals.txt file. And how do we pass it is we use a simple type command. So we will say type animals.txt python mapper.py. And then this should give us the name of the animal and the count, which is set to 1. So how do we do it? We simply read each line from the input file. So the first line that will be read is going to be this line, and this is the only line. So if you have multiple lines, this would have gone through all the lines because we are running a for loop. But in this case, because we just have a single line, it will just read that line. Then it will remove any leading or trailing white spaces that may have come by error or mistake. Then we split the line into words. So the delimiter that we have not given here implicitly means that a space or a tab would be the delimiter, which is why it will read each of these words as a separate line item. This. Then we'll read all those words, that is that line, and then for each word that we have found, we simply print the word and a fixed count of 1. And that is why if we run the mapper code, we see this output. Lion 1, tiger 1, cow 1. If we have multiple lines, the same logic will work across all the different lines. Okay. So this is what we, I think, did last week. So any questions about this, anyone? Although we have tried it, still I just wish to check. Okay. So always remember this point that the map reduce logic works on these two programs. The mapper will do the splitting of data, and depending on what we wish to do, it will produce the necessary output. So for example, here our objective is to count the number of animals. So here it will produce, let's say, name of the animal and the count, but it will not do the totaling and all that. Why is it not doing the totaling? Because that job will be given to the reducer. That is the whole point, because we want the mapper task and the reducer task to be split so that both can be executed on different servers in a cluster by Hadoop. The mapper class simultaneously will run on multiple machines, because in the real life we'll not have such a simple file. We may have maybe thousands and thousands of such lines, and we may have even multiple such files. So we could split those files across several machines, several servers, and let Hadoop run mapper task, that is this mapper code, on each of those servers simultaneously in parallel. So what will happen is the same program will run on all the servers where we have the different mapper files, different animals.txt file scattered. And then the mapper code will go there, run, and produce one output for one such file. As many files as we have, it will get the outputs for all those files. And then it will pass the collected output of all those mapper codes to the reducer code. Again, the reducer code may also go to multiple machines and run on those multiple machines or servers in parallel, which will give us the final output. So if we combine the mapper and reducer code, it will become difficult for Hadoop to run this in parallel, because the code will be all bundled together. So where to split, where to introduce parallelism, okay, that will become a challenge. So to simplify that task, we just split our task into mapping and reducing. In between, of course, we also have the sorting and shuffling steps. In some cases, they are explicitly run. In some cases, that is implicit, as we will see. So we can take an example before we complete this of mapper and reducer in any situation where we want, let's say, the data coming from a data warehouse to be processed in parallel. So data warehouse data will be what we call as the denormalized data. So that will come, and then using map reduce programming, we will process that data. How will we process that data? So for that purpose, what we will do is we will first identify what the reducer code requires. So in this case, the reducer code is going to require all the individual words along with their initial count, which is 1. Let's say we have another example where we want to find out which student has obtained maximum marks in a particular subject. So our data may be students' PRN number and let's say marks. We pass that data to the map or the mapper program. Mapper program will simply output the student's PRN number and the marks. It will do no other processing. And then it will hand this over to the reducer code. The reducer code will have the logic to find out which is the maximum. Or take another example. Let's say we want to find out how many uh, products had what sale. So several products sold. Much to find out which product was sold how many times. Again, pass the data to the mapper code. Mapper code will simply maybe list down the product name and 1 as the sold instance. The reducer code will total it for each product. Okay. So it could be totaling, it could be averaging, finding maximum, finding patterns, sorting. All that logic will be in the reducer code. Mapper code will simply give the raw formatted data. So when we say raw formatted data, something like this. Okay. That is the logic of MapReduce programming. Okay. Any questions about the concept before we go to the reducer code? All right. Now let's try our reducer code. There are actually two ways in which we can write this, but just to simplify this, instead of complicating it right away, we'll just try the simplified version. So let me just first run it to make sure there are no problems with the code. So in between, we will have the sort step. Right, so we get the right count. So the mapper code only produced one, which is the intermediate output, not the final output. The reducer code took the output from mapper after it was sorted, and then it just gave us the final count. Okay. So you can try it, and then I'll explain the logic. In the same directory where we have created animals.txt and mapper.py, we will create this new file, which we are calling as reducer.py. Okay, so I'll just be on mute in case you have any questions. I'll unmute myself and answer.
Sir, could you scroll down?
Sure, the code is not visible.
Okay, how many of us are able to run this successfully? Raise your hand if you have completed and you're able to see the output. Okay, nobody is able to run this successfully yet.
So I'm getting an error.
If you're not able to resolve the error,
No, the error is in this part where there's this thing written, right? Parsed input. Okay, fine. Got it.
okay. Okay, try resolving the errors if you are getting, and in case, in spite of trying, you are not able to resolve the error, understand what is happening, then put the screenshot on the individual chat, not on the common meeting chat. Okay, I'll have a look.
So it's running. No problem.
That's Akash, right? Well done, Akash.
Sir, the only I didn't read the command line that you completely wrote, that the sort and then the reducer function.
Mhm.
You piped three functions, right? So
Yeah. Who else is able to run this? Just raise your hands if you are able. You have been able to complete it. Nishmita, Rachel, Amisha, apart from Akash. Okay, well done. We'll just wait for the others. Again, if some of you have confusions, to run this example, we don't require Hadoop to be running. Okay, so Hadoop installation and running the Hadoop services is different. Here we are trying out MapReduce code. MapReduce code can be run outside of Hadoop or using Hadoop. So what we are trying currently is outside of Hadoop. That is, we are trying this on the local file called as animals.txt. Once that is successful, we will attempt to run this inside HDFS. Okay, but currently we are trying the first step, which is to get it to work locally, that is in our local machine, not inside HDFS. Okay, which is why I'm just waiting for at least a few more students to complete this so that we have sufficient confidence that it's working locally. Others, maybe you are trying, and in case you are facing problems, as I said, I'll try and resolve those. But once we have this sufficient number, we'll next try running this example through HDFS. That is something like real life Hadoop, where you install Hadoop on certain servers, create a cluster out of them, and then the Hadoop code runs on those clustered machines. Here, of course, there is no cluster as such because Hadoop itself is installed in our individual machines. Those of us who have been able to install it successfully. In that sense, it's still not equivalent to a production system or a real life Hadoop situation, but it's very close. The only difference being, instead of running it parallelly on several machines, it's going to run this on our single machine. Okay, but from the programming and running part of it, there is absolutely no difference between what we will try next and what happens in real life. Any questions about the understanding, logic, anything that is not clear to anyone? I've tried to add extensive comments to each line, so hopefully the code is self-descriptive, but still in case someone is not clear about it, let's discuss. Okay, I still see only 4 hands plus Akash. So Oran has also completed. Anyone else? Okay, Vaibhav, Tanmay. Any questions, anyone? Is something unclear in this? Yes, Akash, keep putting your errors on the individual chat. Okay, I don't remember our last status. I remember tried a few things. Okay, so if there is anything different from what we tried last time, or if the status is same, just let me know on the individual chat. Okay, and we'll have a look offline, not in the class. So Nirmit, Satvik, same request to you. Okay, so what I would suggest is there are two things that we have to worry about. One is, of course, to get Hadoop installed and to get it to function, but equally, or I would even say more importantly, you must be able to write MapReduce logic, MapReduce programs. If not very complicated ones, at least reasonably simple to medium complexity ones. Okay, that is equally important, and that will not require Hadoop installation. Don't only focus on Hadoop installation. That I would say is the first 50% important activity, but equally important activity is to be able to write MapReduce programs. Okay, so while we sort out the Hadoop installation issues, make sure you are able to write these programs and run them, at least outside of Hadoop, at least the local versions. Okay, a fresh count. Is it still only 7? Okay, I wonder why actually. Virat is added to the list. All right, let me do this then. Daniel is another. Let me complete the attendance in the meanwhile. Okay, while some of you complete this instead of just waiting, let's utilize the time better. Okay, and as I said, please give your attendance when your turn comes. Don't either miss it or don't later on say I missed it. Okay, just wastes everybody's time. Okay, so let's just do this simple activity as simply as we can do. Okay, division, and again I'm also counting, so in case anybody is doing proxy things, okay, anyway that will be noticed, so please don't again waste everyone's time in that. Division A, PRN1, 2, 3, 4, 6,
Present, sir. Parent 6.
9, 11, 15, 16, 18, 23, 28,
Sir, 28 present.
37,
Present, sir.
38,
38 present, sir.
40, 41.
40 present, sir.
Okay. 41. 44. 46. 48. 51. 52.
Sir, 52.
3. 54.
54 present, sir.
56.
56 present, sir.
59. 60. 61. 69. I'm
So
sorry.
present.
I missed 64. But I think it's not there anyway. 70. 71. 72. 73.
73 present, sir.
74. 75.
25 present, sir.
26. 77.
Present, sir. 77.
78.
Present, sir. 78.
80. 81. 84. 85. 87. 89. 91. Sorry.
91 present, sir. 91.
All right. 92. 95.
92
95
present, sir.
present.
Okay, I mark 92, 95, 96, 97, 98,
Sir, 98 present.
100, 103,
Present, sir.
104,
Yes, sir.
105, 107, 108,
Present, sir.
109, okay, I have also marked 89, I have marked 100. If there is anyone from division A, okay, please mention your PRN number right now. After I start division B, I will not be able to update this.
Sir, 87 present. Oh, my mic is not working. Division A.
87.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, division A is done. Some more students absent than present, I think. Is their choice. Division B, PRN 5,
Present, sir.
7,
So 7 present.
8,
Present, sir.
10, 12,
Present, sir.
13,
Present, sir.
18, 17,
Sir, 19
Yes.
present.
Sir, 17 present.
Sir, 19 also.
okay, 20,
So 20 present.
22, 24,
Present, sir.
26,
Present, sir.
27,
Present, sir.
29,
Yes, sir, 29.
30, 31, 33,
Yes, sir, present.
34, 36,
36 present, sir.
39,
Present, sir.
43, 45, 47, 50, 55, 57, 63,
Yes, sir. 63.
So 58 present.
65, 66,
Present, sir.
7, 68,
Yes, sir.
79,
Present, sir.
82,
Present, sir.
83, 86, 90,
Present, sir. 90.
93, 99, 101, 1. Okay, once again, a quick check. How many of us are able to complete this now? Shubhit, I am looking at chats. I had asked 2 times about the attendance of Division A. I don't know where you were. I also specifically said that this is the end of Division A. Okay. So when the attendance is being taken, please be there. Please give your attendance on time. Okay. What about the others who have not been able to complete? What problems are you facing?
Sir, there are some students on the chat who have marked their written their PRN over there. Can you just check it?
I have taken a note of those who have written the numbers, PRN numbers, during the attendance. Okay. So what happens obviously is a lot of students later on, whenever they join the conversation, they start saying, I had some problems, okay, and all that. So those attendances I'm not going to mark because I had specifically instructed to give the attendance when it was being taken. All right. So I don't know why only 9 students are able to run this. I'm not going to check this anymore. We'll proceed to now trying this example through HDFS. So how do we run this through HDFS is, we'll first try and upload the file onto the HDFS system, which we have actually done last time, but in case we haven't do that once again. Let's share the screen. Okay, for those where Hadoop is running successfully, only those students will be able to try running this inside HDFS. For the other students, we'll have to fix the problems in case Hadoop is not running for whatever reasons, and then we'll have to try this. We have already created this directory, if I remember correctly, but in case we haven't created it, let's create it. So we'll have to first start running all the Hadoop services, and then we will have to say Hadoop DFS -mkdir space /animal count. When I try this command, since I've already created this, it gives me this error. If you have also run this successfully before, you will get an error. If you have not been able to do so, or you hadn't run it previously, it will create this directory called as animal count inside HDFS. I repeat, to run this command, you will have to start the Hadoop services successfully. And if you're not able to do it, these commands will not run. So at least note them down, and maybe once the Hadoop problems are fixed, try these. Those for whom Hadoop is running successfully, you can try running them now.
So this new folder will be created under which directory? in the
This
D
will be
drive.
directly, no. Okay. So if this is confusing you, this will get created inside Hadoop managed area. That is inside Hadoop HDFS system. Okay. So obviously, if you have installed, so if you have installed Hadoop in D drive, yes, physically it will get created in D drive. But unlike, let's say, a local folder which we can manage, which we can see in Explorer directly, we can do a directory command. So how Hadoop internally stores it, we will not be able to see, but we will be able to know that it has created, because we will be able to run HDFS commands to query the directory, see the directory listing, see the file output. So we know it exists, but it's like saying that we create a table in an RDBMS, but then we don't bother where it gets stored. As long as we are able to run a select command on it, our job is done. Something like that. Clear?
Okay, sir. Yeah.
So I have a question. Oran, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So, how is there a command to list the directories which are created in this Hadoop space?
Yes, we can do that. We'll try that also.
Okay, sir.
Once we complete this exam.
So I had a question. So right now we are running Hadoop on a local server, right? So how does it change in the industry? Like, so do they have, so this thing Hadoop is run on their servers, right?
Yes. So from what we are trying point of view, actually nothing will change, Akash. We will still run the same commands. It's just that whosoever is the administrator for Hadoop, that person would have created a cluster on different servers, and he or she would run our commands on those servers. Or in other words, that person will give us the command line interface of that main Hadoop cluster on which we will run these commands.
So not like the one we are doing, like we are starting all the service and all, we'll just get a command line directly.
Absolutely right. So someone else would have already started those services. Someone would be managing those, adding new servers, doing backups, whatever is required, and we will just get a user interface like this.
So, sir, basically, I mean, the admin will just share the permission to those services. Like, we won't be getting access to each and every services like we are starting every service now, right?
Absolutely right. So it would actually be done to protect those services also from either unauthorized access or accidental damage.
Okay, got it.
So we will have, let's say, something like programmer or application developer level permissions. In certain areas, we'll be able to create such directories. We'll be able to upload files, download files, run programs. We will not be able to touch maybe some other areas which are production systems or user acceptance testing areas. Those will be protected and they'll have very restricted access. Okay. So, Oran, your question, we will come to that after we try this example. Okay, next is we will try and upload this file. So what we are trying to do now is this local file. Please understand this carefully. Hadoop DFS -put. We have also tried a command called as copy from local. Animals.txt space /animal count /animals.txt. So what we are saying is we want to upload the local file. This is our local file on D drive code Hadoop Python in this directory. So we want to upload this file inside this animal count directory or folder that we have created inside HDFS, and we wish to copy it with the same name. Again, because I have already done it, I would most probably get an error saying it already exists. Okay, but if it doesn't exist, you will be able to upload it. Next, we can check. I'm not saying do it immediately. I'm just running these. You can run these slowly one after another. So once you have been able to upload it successfully, or if it has already been uploaded, we can do a cat on that to see the output of the file, just to make sure that the file exists. And then what we are supposed to do is to try running this. So this is now the key command. So this will run our code inside Hadoop HDFS. In other words, it will not read the local animals.txt file now. It will read the file that we have created inside HDFS, and the output that it will create will also be stored inside HDFS. So earlier we saw the output getting displayed on the screen, but now this output is going to be stored inside HDFS. Okay, so it has created this successfully. I'm just trying it at my end, and then you can try all these options. Now we are just checking that the output file got created successfully. It did. Okay, just paste all these commands into Notepad. You can try them and use this time also to take our break.
Sir, can you just upload this in the file section on Teams?
No, I want you to try these. So you should type these. That is why I'm not
Okay,
uploading.
sir. So, okay, no problem. No, we are trying, but sir, if I am getting any mistake, then that's the reason.
Yeah, so you can refer to these. Let me know in case you face problems.
Yeah, sure, sure. Okay.
The reason I'm saying this is, otherwise what will happen is most students will just do a copy paste, right? And they will not take the effort of typing these. That's fine.
So but I guess copy paste won't like match the output, right?
It will, because if the file names are the same, you will get exactly the same results.
So how, because if you just previously told, because when you just started like the Hadoop, the command on the command prompt, the make directory one, that is the HDFS make the animal count. If the Hadoop services are not started, then it won't execute, right? So how can the output come? Like I'm getting confused.
No, is Hadoop running successfully or no?
Yeah, it is.
So if Hadoop is running successfully, then this will create a directory called as animal count inside HDFS.
Okay, okay.
Then this command will upload our local animals.txt file inside the Hadoop animal count directory, whose output we are just checking to see whether the file exists.
Yeah.
Then we are running this through HDFS, and we are checking whether the output got created inside it. I am going to explain all these commands one by one, but the point is I don't want students to just take these and copy paste, okay, because then you will not make mistakes. This will run successfully.
Okay.
I do want some students to not deliberately, but make mistakes, and that's the best way to learn. Okay, if it
Yes,
doesn't
sir.
work, I'm there to help. So let's take a break. Also, it's 9:03 on my computer, so maybe let's resume at 9:15. Okay, until then you can also take a break, and if time permits, try these commands, or once we resume, you can try them and then we will discuss. I'll keep the screen shared. Okay, let's resume. Now let me take a different count. How many of us are able to run this now? Whatever we have tried or at least noted down as commands. So Rachel, Tanmay, Akash, Fred, Ritik, Akshita, Akash, Nishmita, Nibir, Devraj.
Sir, I'm trying. I'm getting some error. I just raised the hand for the previous one, which you told.
Okay.
I'm getting some error. I'm trying to debug it myself first.
Okay. Fine. So all the other names are, I presume, are for running it through HDFS. That is what we are currently trying. You can also see possibly that some of you have reported some problems. I'll just stop sharing the screen and see at the chat messages. Okay, so some of you had raised some problems. I've responded to all the questions that were asked. If anyone is still facing any problems, is not able to resolve anything, do mention that in the individual chat. Okay, by the way, while we are trying this out, I wanted to make an announcement which I have done obviously for the web analytics students. They are aware of this, but for this big data, which is a larger pool of students, everyone from both divisions, as you may be aware, the college has designated certain days or certain weeks for conducting the internal evaluations. So first internal evaluation for all the subjects that I am teaching, I am going to conduct next week. So that also means that for big data, we will have our first internal evaluation the week after this, okay, which is 13th, okay, 13th of March at 8 a.m. It is very important that you attend on time and you be there at 8 o'clock, because in case you are absent, you are late, you have connectivity problems, okay, all sort of things that may possibly happen, you will end up losing the internal marks. So please make sure you have at least 2 devices that you can use in case the primary device fails. So have one laptop and also have one smartphone, or 2 laptops, or whatever combinations you have, but make sure you have a main device, you have a backup device, and you have a main internet connection, a backup internet connection. Okay, so you have 1 week to prepare for this. So don't
So what will
at
be
the
the
last moment.
syllabus?
I'll come to that.
Okay.
Okay, so make sure that you have all these basic problems sorted out. Now your internal marks for this particular subject, let me share some details. So this being a very small course, both in terms of number of hours as well as the marking, it's just has 20 internal marks. Okay, so because we have only 20 internal marks, and it's a 2-credit course, so we have 3 different assignments or assessments that need to be conducted. So out of these 3 assessments, this will be the first assessment, and out of the total 20 internal marks, this will be for 10 internal marks. Okay, so remaining 2 assessments will be for 5 marks each. So I repeat, this will be for 10 internal marks. And while we are speaking, I'm just also checking a few things.
So what is the syllabus?
I'll come to that. Just give me a few minutes.
Also, is it going to be MCQ or what kind of a test?
I'll answer all questions. Okay, just give me a minute. Just checking something. You'll get all the details, don't worry. Okay, just verifying certain things before I sort of confirm. So for this particular subject, you do have 20 internal marks and 30 external marks, making a total of 50 marks, of which this first assessment, as I said, will be for 10 marks. Now, what will be there in this assessment? So these will be the questions that you will have to write answers for, in the sense that it will not be a true false MCQ objective type of questions, but it will be questions where you'll have to write answers. Okay. Since this is for 10 marks, so the number of marks may seem very small, but remember, this is out of a total of 20 marks, so that way it is significant. Okay, so it's like 50% of the total mark. And the syllabus for that will be whatever we have done till date, except the part where you are expected to install Hadoop successfully and you are able to try out those examples. So that part will not be a part of this, because I understand that many of you have not been able to install Hadoop. In some cases, in spite of trying repeatedly and trying your best, still there are some problems. I understand that aspect, and that is why there will be no evaluation assuming that you have installed Hadoop successfully. So if you have installed it successfully and if you have been able to try examples and all that, that is well and good. But if you have not been able to do that also, that will have no impact on the assessment, which also means that the questions may have a combination of theory as well as examples that we have tried till date. So nothing which is advanced, nothing that we have not discussed will come in the exam. Okay, so what will come in the exam? Anything and everything that we have discussed in the class. Okay, so any topic that we have not discussed, any topic which is maybe yet to be covered, or something that we have not yet tried out, no question will come on any of those topics. But from what we have discussed in the class, anything may come. And secondly, the questions could, I'm just giving you a heads up, questions could also be such that you will not necessarily find ready-made answers on Google. Okay, so if there is someone who is relying on the great friend Google, okay, maybe it may not be of great help. That is a hint that I am giving you. And the other expectation is that you will not be typing the answers to the question. Okay, so you will have to use pen and paper. So be ready again with this basic stationery with you. You will have to write the answers on paper. You will have to put your PRN number. You will have to put your name. You will have to sign, and then you will have to take a photo and upload. Okay, so the reason I am doing this is very clearly, I do not wish to have a uniform evaluation where everyone gets same marks or similar marks by wild copying and sharing things on WhatsApp and all the other groups. Okay, so I do hope and wish that whosoever has been sincere, whosoever has been doing things seriously so far, at least trying out things seriously, please not share your answers with the rest. Okay? If you do so, loss is yours, because then it is very difficult for me to distinguish you from the rest. So you decide what is right, what is wrong according to you. And For the others, you have time of 1 week to catch up for whatever reasons. If you have not paid attention, not studied, not really maybe tried out things, you have 1 week to try out. Okay. Very importantly, the questions will not be very complicated. The questions will not require a lot of time to write answers for. So for 10 marks, there will not be more than 3 or at the most 4 questions. And since we will try and wind this up just in 1 hour, including you submitting the answers and all that, you can imagine that the questions will be framed such that you will be able to answer those in a few minutes. Okay, so I will take sufficient care from my side so that because of lack of time, nobody is suffering. Okay, so that is the explanation from my side. Any questions you can ask. Yes, any questions?
Sir,
Anything not
date for
clear?
the test.
Coming
So what will
Saturday,
be the
coming
okay, sir.
Saturday, 13th, 8 o'clock.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, I can also see that many students have not been attending lectures. I do not wish to make any comment about it. That is, as I said, an individual's choice. So there may be a large number of students who just come for the attendance. So do you have a CR or some representative who can pass on this message about the test to the entire class, both divisions? Okay. Is Kshitij there today? I don't know. Kshitij, are you there? Yeah, Kshitij is there. I don't know why.
Hello.
Yes, Kshitij, are you there?
Yes, sir. Sorry for the late response. I was just connecting my mic with my computer. It kind of got disconnected
Not a
in between.
problem. Okay, so could you pass on the message? I hope you heard what all I said.
Yes, sir.
So you do not have to obviously write a long message. I don't expect you to spend your time in doing that. Only request is to inform both divisions A and divisions A and B that there will be a 10 marks written test next week, that is 13th March at 8 a.m. in our usual during our usual class times, and that all the students should make sure that they attend. Otherwise, there will not be a repeat test. So anyone who misses, 10 marks will go. Okay, so some kind of
Understood,
message
sir.
like this. Yeah.
Just one query. By written, you mean like handwritten or
Yes.
like typed?
Yes. Not typed.
Not typed.
Handwritten. So they will have to have their pen and paper ready. And also in the same message, if you could write that they can go through the recording of today's lecture to find out more details. If someone asks keeps on asking questions, you don't have to answer. Simply say that all the questions are answered in the recording. So go through the recording.
Sure, sir. Will do.
Okay. Thanks, Krit. Anyone, any other questions?
Sir, can you upload the PPDs? One is there on
I've
Hadoop.
already done that. Yeah,
So
that's
one
all.
is
That's
there
really
on Hadoop, but I'm guessing the big data introduction is not there.
yeah. So there I have not used any specific material that I have created. It's just the generic,
No problem, sir.
some comics and some quotes which explain big data in a maybe jocular fashion. So that's all.
So can you upload web analytics PPTs for reference?
I haven't done that. Let me check. If I haven't, I'll do that. Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. One more point about this test again. I have done this also in web analytics. So let me share the same views here. Those who have been attending most or all the lectures, those have been paying attention, taking notes, maybe writing down things, trying out examples, in case of questions, asking questions. Those students, I will say, do not really have to do anything, maybe except just a quick revision of whatever they have tried and studied. So from their own notes, no other extra preparation is necessary. So those who have been doing it, you will do very well. You will get very good marks also. I'm myself confident about it. Obviously, if you haven't been doing that and all of a sudden you wake up one day, you will have to now take efforts during this week.
So when we scan our like the
Sorry,
so
I didn't understand.
so when we scan the our answer sheet, do you want it in a PDF format or all images?
Doesn't matter really. Whatever is easiest, okay, whatever your phone or laptop or whatever device you are using supports, that's fine.
Okay, so thank you.
Okay, so let me now explain what we were trying to do in that series of steps that some of you have successfully done. So here, the first statement, Hadoop DFS mkdir animal count. Just to repeat, this particular command will try to create a directory called as animal count inside Hadoop HDFS. Again, don't confuse this with your local Windows or Linux or a Mac machine directory. So those directories that we create are on our local machine. This will get created inside Hadoop. Of course, in this particular case, because Hadoop is installed on a single local machine, this will also get created on the local machine. But it's not the same as creating a Windows or a Linux directory. Instead, this is going to create a folder or a directory inside HDFS, which means Hadoop will manage it. So, in other words, we cannot simply do a dir animal count. Or in Linux, we cannot say, for example, something like cd or ls on animal count, because that simply doesn't exist. That exists inside HDFS. How it exists, how it is stored, used, manipulated, all that is decided by Hadoop. We have no control. In the second command, we now try to upload the animals.txt file from our local folder, is from wherever we are running this command. In many of your cases, I think you are running it from a directory called as test files, or some of us could be running through the code Hadoop Python directory. So wherever the animals.txt file is located, from there we are putting or uploading this onto the animal count directory which we created just now. So instead of this put command, we can also use an alternative, which is copy from local. Both commands will do the same job. Then we are simply making sure that the file that we attempted to upload just now got uploaded successfully. So the cat command will display the contents of the animals.txt file. From where? Not from the local command. So this is again not the type command. Type will display the contents of the local animals.txt. This cat command will show us the contents of the HDFS stored animals.txt file. Okay, and now comes the main command. Okay, so this will also be at the prompt, of course. So here, what are we doing? So we are saying Hadoop jar. Anyone, what is a jar file? Why do we require a jar file? Where do we use a jar file?
So my guesses are it's contains packages and so packages or libraries. Yeah.
Yes, Akash, the answer is right. Also, Nirmit, a jar file is nothing but it's the short form for Java archive. So the idea is that individually, when we wish to run a Java program, uh, most of you would know if Java was a language in your syllabus at some point of time, or in case you have learned on your own, that when we write a Java program, the source that we write is in the form of a .java file. So let's say, for example, I write a class in Java called as student.java. And then when I compile this, if the compilation is successfully, if it compiles successfully, then it will create a file called as student.class, which I can execute. So what happens in the real life situations is that if, let's say, we write many such Java classes to create maybe a larger project. For example, you have to, let's say, create a project for examination system, student management system. Then what happens is, if, let's say, we have many such classes, for example, student.class, exam.class, subject.class, teacher.class, room.class, exam.class. So many classes. So if, let's say, we compile or have compiled all these classes and we give these classes individually where we want to install this project, there'll be too many classes. And tomorrow, let's say, if we change another class, uh, we have to recompile that class and again give a fresh copy to whosoever is using this project. So instead, the creators of Java said, why don't we simply create the concept of what we call as a jar file? We'll have an extension of .jar, where we simply can put all our .class files, student.class, subject.class, library.class, room.class, exam.class, all the classes will be packaged almost like packing into a zip file or a tar file, except that the extension here is a jar file instead of a tar file. So this is nothing but a jar file is nothing but it's a compressed collection of various Java classes. And as rightly pointed out, therefore it can also be called as a library, which we give to whosoever wishes to run our software. We have written, let's say, this student management system. We will only give one file called as studentmanagement.jar, which will contain all the classes. And then whosoever is trying to run this software will take this jar file and using a command like this. So that person will say, of course, there is no Hadoop in that case, it's just Java. So that person will, for example, say jar, whatever is the name of the jar file that we have given. And then the jar file will run, which means that all the classes that we have written inside will now be available. So in our code, let's say now there is an execution of student is equal to new student. So we want to create a new instance of student. So the student class is already a part of the jar file. So since the jar file is already running, the student file is already running, and we'll be able to create a new instance of student. Now, why are we referring to all this Java terminology here? Because as I had mentioned earlier, Hadoop itself is written using Java. So when we run Hadoop, we actually run a Java program. So here we are saying Hadoop jar, and then we are running a specific jar file called as Hadoop streaming.jar, which is inside our Hadoop installations share Hadoop tools lib folder. That is why this long path. So this jar file enables running our Python code inside HDFS. What is the syntax? Dash file mapper.py. So this dash file mapper.py does not refer to our code. This is like the ready-made code provided by Hadoop for the mapper functionality. So some basic installations have to be done, not installations, initializations have to be done, some cleanup has to be done. So this is like that master mapper program which will execute. And then it will say our specific code is, so we have written our logic inside mapper.py. It will say, okay, now let me run this specific logic that you have written. And once our mapper code runs, again, there is a generic or a master reducer.py program supplied by Hadoop. It will run like the umbrella program or the overall program, which will say, okay, I have done the basic cleanup, basic initializations. Now let me run your code, which is our code. We have written our code in reducer.py. So if naming becomes a point for confusion, what we could have also done, let's say, is that we could have called our code simply as say m.py and our reducer code as r.py, suppose. Then it's very clear that this is the generic program given by Hadoop. This is the code that we have written. Again, for reducer, this is the generic code given by Hadoop. This is the code that we have written. Then we supply the name of the input file, which is uploaded already inside the animal count directory of HDFS. Name of the file is animals.txt. Where do we wish to store the output? We wish to store it inside the same directory, animal count, with a file name also called as animal count. So animal count is the name of the directory as well as the name of the file. Again, if it sounds confusing, you can simply say animal count slash say my output. Now, this is the name of the output directory, and this is the name of the output file. Then what we are trying to do is to see the contents of our output file. If this command runs successfully, it means that our mapper and reducer programs have run or executed successfully on animals.txt inside HDFS, and they have created the output file called as my output, whose values now we want to find out. Since I have changed the file name above, change it here also. So Now we are saying cat. So show me the contents of which file in a directory called as animal count. Name of the file is my output, whose part 0 is what we wish to see. Why this part 0? Because Hadoop normally expects extremely large inputs and outputs. So the outputs are also created in several parts, part 0, part 1, right, and so on. So in this case, obviously, we are using very small data. So only part 0 is sufficient to cover our output, but we have to mention it that we wish to see the part 0 of the file. There is no part 1 because output is very small. If outputs are large, we will have to run the cat command separately on part 0, then separately on part 1, on part 2, and so on. Okay. If all of this is correct, it will show us the final output, which is here. Right. So when I ran the cat command, in my case, I had changed the output file name to animal count 3, part 0000. So it showed me this output. So once Hadoop is running successfully on our machines, we will be able to see this. And you'll also see that while Hadoop is running, it also gives something like a running commentary to us. So for example, it's saying map and reduce tasks have started. Then in about 11 seconds, map task is done 100%, reduce task is still not started. After another 7 seconds, map task anyway was already over, reduce task is also over. Okay, then it also shows number of bytes read, written, and so on. So this may be useful in some cases for debugging purposes or even for the purpose of creating log files or audit files. So when jobs don't run successfully or later on you have to go back and see what happened, such logs are useful. So they are also written to the Hadoop logs, and the administrators usually will be able to give these logs to us in case we wish to have a look at them even subsequently. Any questions about any of these steps? All right, so that's it from my side for today. What I would urge you to do is to make sure that you are able to run this example first in your local directory. Those who have not been able to complete it, please make sure you complete it. In case you face problems you're not able to resolve, let me know on the chat. Okay, whenever I take a look at it, I'll try and resolve. If needed, we can even communicate offline in a sense, outside of these lecture hours, and try and resolve. After which, if you have not been able to install Hadoop successfully till date, make sure you complete the installation and then try running the example in HDFS. Okay, that will give you a lot of confidence. It will show you what you are doing on your machine instead of just learning it as theory. And final reminder, we will have our 10 marks first internal evaluation next week, 13th March at 8 a.m. A handwritten test. Have a pen and paper or mini papers ready. Have at least 2 devices and 2 internet connections ready. If you miss it, I will not be able to take a repeat test and your 10 marks will go. I will not be responsible. Okay, so I'm making it explicitly clear several times.
So I have a question regarding the practical we did. So there, you said there's one file called part that and then quadruple zeros. There's another file called success. So what does that contain? Like, what information does that have?
that is usually the information about whether your job succeeded or failed. So that is like the audit information associated with the output. The output file will give you the details of the actual output, and the audit file will give you the details of what happened during the process.
So one more thing. So why doesn't Hadoop rewrite a directory? Like, so we faced this issue during the count thing, animal count thing, right? We can't rewrite it, the same directory.
The reason could be something like preventing an accidental rewrite. So it expects you to first delete the directory and then create a fresh one. So what may happen is someone may accidentally just attempt to recreate it and may end up losing all the old data.
Okay, so like a versioning thing also, right?
Yeah, and something like, let's say, for example, how you have the read, write, extend modes for file
Yeah.
opening in C, something like.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
All right. So wish all of you very best. I'm sure majority of you will do very well. I know a lot of you are trying sincerely right from the beginning. So those of you absolutely, I have no doubt, will be able to write all the answers very easily. Again, as I said, it's up to you whether you wish to keep up the spirit of a true evaluation or you just want this again like any other internal test, which many students unfortunately seem to be habitual of now because of the internal online tests. The choice is yours, and wish you all the best. Don't worry, try your sincere most, and you will do well. Okay, so with this, we'll stop and we'll meet once again, same time next week. Until then, take care, relax, but study and enjoy. Bye from my side.
Thank you, sir.